Shalom and good morning. Today I bring you a very interesting history lesson that we're going to get from the apologetic community, my brothers and sisters. But I want you to notice about this word history because you can get two words out of this word here. We see his and we can get what story. So his story. Just want to just point that out to you. But what I found so ironic about this, by me sharing it with you today, it falls in the month that the American government has given unto my people. Because their month, or the heathens month, no, February, is dedicated to those who are there, they call quote unquote black, because y'all know how I feel about that word. Because there's no such thing as a nation or a tribe named after a crayon color, okay? Also, they may call them African Americans, okay? Even Native Americans. Oh, yes, we're going to get a good history lesson today that's going to confirm everything I'm telling you. Or they may call them Negroes, and then they use that derogatory word, the Nigger. Yeah, okay. But it's funny how it has ended in this month, because this is the month that the American government has given unto my people who has melanated skin. And it's funny how it's given in the shortest month. Anyway, I just thought I'd point that out to you. But let us get straight to the point here. The title of this history lesson today is All Israelites, a history lesson from the Apologetics. Thank you, Brother Berean. Yes, Brother Berean have brought something out, y'all. And we need to take a look at it because there's some good information that he does share with us. Now, if you do not know him, he's very well known in the apologetic community because of what he's doing on his channel. Okay. But I came across one of the videos he did in the year of 2017 that has some interesting information that you want to hear, Israelites. And I find it very, very ironic that the majority of the people in his community haven't even spoken on it. Maybe they have seen it, but they didn't speak on it. I find it kind of strange. But anyway, so the title again of this word is All Israelites, a history lesson from the Apologetics. Thank you, Brother Berean. Now, again, we know we're going to have the naysayers. So to the naysayers, we call you the Roman Christians. In the Greek tongue, they said Christianity. We also call you the Hellenizers because you taking the ways of the Greeks, always going around changing stuff that you have no business changing, especially changing the ways of the Most High, for those things are sacred and holy unto him. And just like the word hell can be found in the word Hellenizer, well, that pretty much describes who you are and what you do and whom you serve. Okay, and then we also call you heathens because you have no regard for the things of Yahuwah. Okay, so we always know we're going to have the naysayers who will come against this history lesson that our brother Berean did in the year of 2017. And you probably wonder, what is Sister Yahusha talking about? Let me give you a quick peek before we go to the date. This is the video that Brother Berean did in 2017. As you see, this is on his channel. It's titled Constantine and the Whitewashing of Christianity. Okay. I want you to see this. Let me show his description box. And this was done in October the 17th in the year of 2017. All right. So I'm going to play this video so you can get the history lesson. And the reason why, because this comes from one of their members. He's very famous, and and I had spoken to him in the past in the year of 2017. And there were some words that he said unto me that really stood out to me, y'all. And we're going to go over that too. All right, now for the date. Today's date I have to first give you the heathen date because we're in the fourth beast kingdom, okay, as Daniel prophesies. So most of you are familiar with their date, Satan's calendar. For their date is February the 18th in the year of 2021 AD. We are in the morning time of the phase. We are in the morning time of the phase of the day, which is still considered to be under daylight. So I'm gonna put daylight. And today I need to change this to Friday. Forgive me, my brothers and sisters. No, I'm thinking ahead, y'all. And the reason why I'm thinking ahead because I'm used to my father's calendar, and I explain why. And you'll see why I was thinking that it could be the next day, but it's not. Okay, so today is Thursday. Now, in the Latin tongue, they would say Dies Jovis, which when you translate it into English, it goes back to the word Jupiter. You can find that in the book of Acts. And when you trace Jupiter to the Greek culture, you will learn that Jupiter and Zeus are the same deities that these Gentiles worship. So this is why we have the days of the week named after their gods. Again, we are in the fourth beast kingdom, which is the Roman Empire, which is the World Council of Churches. Emblem or logo can prove that because the Greek word okaneme means Roman Empire. Look it up. Okay, now their day begin from midnight to midnight because they are the children of darkness, and Satan is their father, for he is the angel known as the principality of darkness, death, and destruction. So this is why the world today is following that heathenistic, paganistic calendar. Okay, but for those who are brought into the light, because we are taught by the living word as written in the Bible, it says that man shall be taught by Yah's spirit now and not by flesh, as written in 1 John chapter 2 verse 27, and then John chapter 14, 15, and 16. In those chapters, Messiah is telling you that you are now taught by the Comforter. You're taught by his spirit. That's a mystery on that. Okay, so you're taught by the Comforter these sacred things. So this is why we have understanding about the Father's calendar that's written from the beginning of the book, and it's expressed throughout the whole book. Okay, so we are in the 12th month of Adar. We are in the 7th day, which is the 8th day of Adam. Okay, I'm sorry. We are in the 7th day, which we are in the 8th day of Adam. That's the year. That's how we label our year. We go by the years from Adam. So we're in the 8th day from Adam. Now, if you go to the video description box and click on the link for the calendar, um, on that calendar, it gives you the exact years that I'm talking about when I'm talking about the 8th day of Adam. You got to know what the 8th day of Adam means, okay? Which, when you convert that to the date of creation, we are in the 13th day from creation. Far as biblical prophecy, we are in the 8th week of Enoch's 10-week prophecy. And far as this week, we are in the first week of the Most High calendar, and today is his 6th day. Again, as you see, the Most High date is not like the heathen's date. Okay. Far as the date of the sun, we are in the sun's 12th month and first day. 12th month and first day. So far as the circuit of the sun is in its last month of winter now. All right. And I also forgot to mention that Adar is the 12th month of the Israelite calendar. Now, our days start from sundown to sundown because we are the children of light, because our Father in heaven is the Father of light. So therefore we follow his example, for we are made in his image. Mysteries. Now, to give you understanding why I say Messiah, you can find that word in Daniel chapter 9 and John chapter 1 verse 41. For in the English tongue we say Messiah. In the Greek tongue, they would say Messias, and yes, that word is written in the Bible. And in the and in the Hebrew tongue, we would say Mashiach, and you can find it in H4889. As for the Son of God, he is many things, and there's mysteries on why he are these things. When you read the word, he is the sword, he is the fire, he's the water, he's the salt, the rod, the staff, the right hand, the stretched out arm, the living word. He is that witness of the tabernacle that was built by Moses and the Israelites in the wilderness. He is the light. He is the second Adam. He is the anointed one. And he is the Aleph and Tau, meaning that he is the what? The first and last. He is the beginning and end. Okay? Mysteries. This FYI, we have Passover coming up, and because I'm sorry, we have Passover coming up, but some of y'all may know it as the Lord's Supper or as communion, but the world has been taught to call Passover Easter. Again, this comes from the fourth beast kingdom, because when you look in the Bible, you will only find this word one time, but when you look in the Greek concordance, it means Passover. So that's why you see me put the correct transliteration going from the Hebrew to the Aramaic to the Greek and to the English. Do y'all see this? So when we look at this, the correct word transliteration, because Easter is a word corruption, it's not a correct word transliteration. You will learn that in the Hebrew tongue, how we would say Passover is Peshat, or you may see it spelled as Pesach. And you can find it in 86435. For those who have a copy of the Aramaic Bible, it is spelled as Pescha. Pescha. Excuse my tongue. P-E-S-K-H-A. And in the Greek tongue, they say Pascal. Pascal. So you can see a lot of similarities with these words, because in the English tongue, you should get Passover. Do me a favor, my brothers and sisters. Do a word search in the King James Bible, especially the 1611 version, and type in the word Passover and see how many times this word appeared in the Old Covenant, okay, compared to the New Covenant. All right, and then see how many times this word Easter come up, and then you would know that's a word corruption. Okay. So Passover is the correct word transliteration, which brings us to this. We are expecting for the Passover to come, for those who are preparing for the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, because our Messiah gave us the instruction on how to keep it. Remember, it's the washing of the feet, the breaking of the bread, and the drinking of the wine or the grape juice for those who cannot do alcohol. It's because we do this in remembrance of him, and to understand the biblical prophecies that would pertain to the bride of the Messiah, to the 144,000, and to the nation of Israel. Mysteries, y'all. This is why we keep these things. So don't let no one tell you that we are not supposed to keep the holy days of Yahuwah. That is a lie from the gates of hell. For his prophets have prophesied unto you. Do you hear me? For those who say they believe in the Messiah, the prophets have prophesied unto you that we're going to keep the new moon, the Sabbaths, and his holy feast days in the kingdom to come, in the millennium kingdom to come. So we're going to keep it in the time when the Messiah reigned for 1,000 years. And we're also going to keep it in our Father kingdom, which is the new heaven and new earth. And that kingdom will be eternal. So do not believe the lies of the naysayers. And these naysayers are what? Roman Christians, Hellenizers, heathens. In other words, you better read them prophets' writings, or these folks going to have y'all believing a lie. So the date of, do y'all hear me? I'm saying the date. So you can't go to the Gregorian calendar for this date. You have to go to his two witnesses that was established unto us, that is the heavens and the earth. So the date that the Messiah was crucified, which is known as the Passover, was Aviv 14th, and the day of his resurrection is on Aviv 16th. The prophet Hosea and I'm sorry, y'all, and Josephus will confirm this. Josephus will confirm that Aviv 16th is the day when the Israelites offer the sheaf weight of the barley harvest. Also, the book of Joshua will confirm this as well, because this is the day when the manna ceased. And Torah will confirm this, because this is the day, again, with the sheaf weight offering, with known as the armor, to represent that the Messiah will be the first of the resurrection, and fall off in him. The saints will also resurrect with him on that day, because he set the captives free from Sheol so they could enter into paradise. Mysteries, y'all. Even Josephus talk about Sheol. Okay. And then the prophet Hosea will confirm that he resurrected on Aviv 16th. That's a prophecy. Okay. So by following after Aviv 16th, which is Passover, we shall keep the feast of unleavened bread. Against mysteries, Messiah has given you how to keep it. for those who are seasoned. Okay. Now I have seen many that claim to be in the truth, but they're not seasoned. They still at the same point when they came into the covenant. All right. So the Feast of Unleavened Bread is from Aviv 15th to Aviv the 21st. So that, remember that I'm giving you these dates. Is very important that you have them, because the Gregorian calendar is not going to give it to you. Now what I'm showing you is a picture, because in the video description box, I want you to watch the video that was done by Keith Thompson. Okay. And notice, again, this is letting you know this coming from the apologetic communities. And that channel title is Reform Apologetic Ministries. Okay. And he did a video about the Israelites. Now, when you watch that video, your mouth was going to drop, because they did not give a true representation of the Israelites of today. They only show the bad apples. And we all know, in any denomination, whether you are Christians, whether you are Roman Catholics, whether you are Muslim, okay, etc., we all know there are bad apples among us. And to show the bad apples, especially in this month of our history, we know what the damage it can do to our nation and to our people. Because when you study about our history, when a European or another person of a different tribe and nation don't present the truth in this wholeness, they can get a whole nation of people killed. Look at our history. Look at how, for example, when the Europeans accuse our people of doing something wrong, look at how many people they killed behind a lie. Just look at our history. And this is why I'm bringing this out, because this is very important. When you don't present the facts in this wholeness, you're putting my people in jeopardy for their lives to be taken. So he said in this video that he did, he said this film critically examines the history and doctrines of the Black Hebrew Israelite sects. Notice how he used the word black. Again, this is a code word for those undercover racist people, because the Bible teaches you that there are tribes and nations in the earth. Please address them by their tribe and nation name. They are not called a crayon color. We don't see a European saying white European when he's putting on his application. We don't see a Chinese man saying yellow Chinese man. We don't see a Russian saying, white Russian. But it's something about when the world want to say black this and black that, they're letting me know you racist already. You don't believe that the people can be the indigenous people of that land. So that's telling me a whole lot when you use the word quote unquote black. Okay. But the thing about this video, it doesn't give the whole truth. And it's going to show you some whitewashing of the Europeans. And you will see what I mean by that. Now, I do notice that the original video YouTube post link has been taken down. But I was able to find it, y'all. They re-uploaded it in the month of November of the year of 2020. Whoever that person is. He re-uploaded it. Well, the person on that channel was able to get a copy of this wicked video, and he put it on his channel. Okay. So, like I said, we got two witnesses today, Brother Berean and another, that would confirm that what we've been telling y'all, that the Europeans have been whitewashing history. But now we're going to hear it from the apologetic community telling you that themselves. Okay. In that picture, what you see here, I'm just letting you know, the original video would let you know what ministry. So this comes from the apologetic community. So that way no one can denounce it. It comes from their community. And I'm bringing this out because you'll see why. And it was done in the year of 2017. But notice how that video is still saying. So in that video, there were some questions asked unto the audience. It said, were the ancient Egyptians Negro? Now, to me, this is a very simple question. Most of us should know the correct response, because even the Bible and history will teach you, were the Egyptians melanated people. But notice that he used the word Negroes. for him to present this question, that lets me know, what are you trying to do? And you see what I'm saying. So the next question that he presented to the audience is Yahusha Negro? Again, knows what word he's using, Negro. So what they saying to you, can these people be melanated people? And when you look up the word melanated and you understand about melanin, you will learn that all the tribes in the earth have some melanin. Now, some have a great amount of melanin. Okay? And the reason why you need to know that melanin is a gift from the Most High, you can find it in Adam. Adam was the first melanated man in the earth. This is where we get our melanin from. Okay? Even the Europeans, they have melanin, because if they didn't, they could not tan in the sun. And then we do have a small group of people, or a small population of people, who have no melanin. So they have no protection from the sun whatsoever. They would burn very easily. So you're going to see why he's asking the audience this question, because it's getting to this point. The question that he asked, were the ancient Israelite Negroes? And the reason why he presented in this way, if they can dispute that the Egyptians, who are the sons of Ham, are not Negroes, I'm using their words, y'all, or not melanated people, and they can dispute that Yahusha is not a Negro / melanated person, then it would give them the proof. I say give them the proof that therefore the Israelites cannot be melanated people, Negroes, black. I hate using those derogatory words, but that's what they give unto us. Okay? So watch that video and you will see the whitewashing. And then right now we're going to watch Brother Berean video and compare. Okay? So your homework is to watch that video. And I'm trying to remember what the title. It was something about history of the Black Hebrew Israelites. So that video will be in this video description box if they have not taken it down. I want you to watch that. Then we're going to watch Brother Berean video in this video. Okay? Compare notes. And then we're going to the third person video as a witness. All right? Now, here goes the famous word of one of their brethren in the apologetic community. The famous words of Vocab Malone. These are some of the words that Vocab has said unto me that he, like I said, he typed these words himself on YouTube to me. We was talking about this wicked video. Okay, so I want to point this out. He said unto me, Keith brought out some good history, but be warned, a good dose of real history will change your beliefs. These are the words of Vocab that he said himself. Okay. Then, in reply to one of my comments to him, he said unto me, why would I ask someone to take one of their own videos on their own channel down? I definitely couldn't force him. Besides, why would I? Do y'all hear that? Being subscribed to his channel means what exactly? I'm also subscribed to most ISUPK and IUIC channels and yours. So he didn't see the point of telling his brother to take this video down because he didn't see the lies in it. He supported the lies. But let's keep going. He got more proof. So one of my responses unto him, and the reason why I have to read you my response, so you can hear the proof that I'm giving to you about what he said unto me. And this was said unto me in the year of 2017. My response to Vocab was this, because we was having a conversation back and forth. So there's many comments, y'all. Okay. He said, my response to Vocab was this. Vocab alone, did you not say you are a Christian? Are you not your brother's keeper? The word instructs us to rebuke each other when sin is committed so repentance can take place to save one's soul. You know the word. And he do because he's a pastor, y'all. Now make the correction and start the rebuking. Bye-bye, my brother. And this was his reply to me. He said, Yahusha Israel, I hear you, but I never said he sinned or needs to be rebuked. Now notice this, I highlight that. He goes on to say the video has a lot of facts a lot of people need to hear. All I'm saying is I shouldn't receive credit for his work, and that is not mine. Thank you for your follow-up. It's appreciated. I fully believe you are 100% sincere. We just disagree, but it's not personal at all. And what you'll find on that conversation was having back and forth. At first, I thought he did it because they sound so much alike, and I have never seen Keith Thompson. I haven't seen the pictures of him, or I have not seen him on YouTube, where you can see what he looked like. I haven't seen any of that. So I did assume, but I publicly apologized for that and made a correction. But my point was to him, that video is wicked and it don't give the true history of melanated people, whether they are Egyptians, Cush, or Ethiopians, whether they are Israelites, etc. Because there's many other nations and tribes in the earth that has melanin, for we all come from our father Adam, who has melanin too. Now for the two witnesses. Let's get started.
Grace and peace, everybody. Welcome to Berean TV. We got Pastor Jerome Gay of the Urban Perspective and Vision. What's the name of the church?
Vision Church in
Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yep.
Talk to us, Pastor. How are you? What's going on?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm excited. Just coming off of a great weekend in Philly of the Frequency Conference. So I was just really amazed by what God did for those 2 days in Philly. We're just seeing tons of scholars talking about different topics, and specifically in the areas of race, justice, and human dignity. So I'm just excited, man. I'm doing good. How about you?
Great. I was so surprised at what I heard. I'm very excited about the conference and everything that went down. But I brought you on here for a specific reason. I've been dealing with people, and I'm getting so many emails about Nicaea, the Council of Nicaea.
Yeah.
So many people are confused, and I said, well, let me. Being I have a pastor here, let me get you on. And they say most pastors never even heard of the Nicene Council and how Christianity was invented there. And I actually saw that in the book. I've seen a couple of videos, and I talk a little bit about it. But how do you feel just hearing that Christianity was invented at the Nicene Council? Have you ever heard of the Nicene Council?
I've heard it several times, in particular, primarily from the Kemetic community, Kemetic guys that are into, or guys and girls that are into Kemetic science. They say they receive tons of misinformation. So the first thing, just in case people don't understand, that the councils were ecumenical councils. And ecumenical councils, basically a bunch of bishops got together and they were trying to decide certain things in relation to the church that already existed.
And what was already going on in the church.
Existed. Yeah,
that's very important. How do you know that, though?
Well, when we study history, and we study history of church fathers as well as Jewish historians, we're able to gather this information, which you'll find out in particular about Council of Nicaea in 325, that Constantine did not invent Christianity at the Council of Nicaea, because he had already issued an edict known as the Edict of Milan 12 years before the council.
And what was that about?
The Edict of Milan was just really making it so that Christians would stop being persecuted. So let me say that again. The Edict of Milan was about Christians, meaning that Christians had already existed before the Council of Nicaea, so that these Christians would stop being persecuted, because Christianity was one of the most persecuted faiths during that time. Now, Constantine was into polytheism. Romans were into just believing in many gods, so it wasn't like they were trying to make Christianity exclusive, but they wanted the persecution of Christians to stop. And they were seeing the popularity of what people had believed about Jesus. So he issues this Edict of Milan to stop the persecution, making way for it to be one of the legal religions in the area at the time.
And that wasn't nothing about control or anything. It was just something that was already going on. I often hear people say it was a political move. It was a political move, and they wanted to bring Jesus, a white God, in. What do you say?
Well, I would agree to some extent about it being a political move from Constantine's position.
Okay.
But I would not say it was not a tool of control for black and brown people, because one of the leaders at the Council of Nicaea was a guy by the name of Athanasius. And Athanasius was a Christian. He was African, And he was also known as the Black Dwarf because of his dark skin and his short stature. So I want you to hear this. So in 325, at least over 1,000 years before the middle passage of 1619,
that's correct,
there were black Christians who were arguing for the faith, who were also intellectual and theological, fighting for the faith. And at this particular council, he went against another guy known as Arius.
yes.
And the issue at hand at the Council of Nicaea was the essence of Jesus. It was not about creating the Christian faith. As we've already established, an edict was issued 12 years prior.
Already.
Christians had already existed. And then we got Josephus' writings 200 years before the Council of Nicaea.
That's correct.
So when we begin to study history, we're able to see these things. But what a lot of these cats do that try to say it's invented, they're using Google scholarship instead of actual scholarship with books and footnotes. But back to the council. So Athanasius was going against Arius. Arius was trying to say that Jesus was a created being. And so this is why one of the things you see in the actual Nicene Creed is that he was begotten and not made. And so it's important that we understand a black African man led this, because if not for his leadership, there would be tons of heretics following in Arianism.
But the thing is so crazy is this is the first time some people are hearing this, because the way the conscious community teach it, that there was a bunch of white folk in the room, and these white folk got here and picked books in the Bible and made Jesus God right there.
Well, again, they're wrong about that because, again, there were Africans there. And then if you just even look at the scriptures, you got the Coptic church already established. And many would credit the Ethiopian eunuch based on Acts chapter 8 as founding the Coptic church. So it's historically inaccurate to say that Constantine invented Christianity and that there were no black people present at the council. One of the leading voices, in fact, the leading voice was a black African man by the name of Athanasius. And again, this was over 1,000 years before the transatlantic slave trade. Now, when they try to talk about the scriptures were not voted in the Bible, but it was the Council of Carthage at 397.
That's correct.
And so in 397, it's important that you understand this. The books were already established.
The canon, which we call the canon.
We call that the canon, the 66 books. What they were talking about is making sure that the Apocrypha was not included as canon, as the books that should be written, and the books that were written during what we know as the period of silence. The period of silence is the 400-year gap between Malachi, the last book of the Old Testament, and Matthew, the first book of the New Testament in our English Bibles, because really Mark was probably written first, as known as Mark in priority. But in terms of how our English Bibles are written, it's a 400-year gap, and so the apocryphal books were not included. And so that was 397. So they weren't voting on and making the Bible. It's important that we understand in 325, Christianity had long been established. They were called Christians at Antioch, Acts chapter 11.
26.
So we already had that established based on redemptive history. But what happened in 397 was they wanted to be clear on what was inspired and what wasn't.
And what wasn't. Excellent. What do you think there are any sources? What do you recommend that someone read? A lot of people look at videos. What do you recommend? I know Josephus is important. I tell people, and they understand that they just can't pick up a video and just watch certain videos. They have to look. I often tell people they have to understand timelines. If they understand timelines, they won't get confused. You don't have to be a historian to know history, but if you understand timelines, people just can't tell you anything. What do you think somebody is good for someone to read if they wanted to kind of understand that?
Well, I would say I would get writings on. And let me say this: we've talked about in other talks about the whitewashing of history. And so even though we know these men were African, many of them were of a darker hue, the books that you read on them will have white men on the covers. That's just a sad reality we're dealing with, but it does not mean that we should negate the historicity of what these guys did.
All right, I would read. So now you're a Christian pastor.
Yes, I am.
You're not a Muslim. You're not a black Hebrew Israelite. You're a Christian pastor, and you're admitting on video that Christianity has been whitewashed.
Absolutely. In fact, so one of the books I would recommend is How Africa Shaped the Christian Mind by Thomas Oden, because what Thomas Oden captures in his book is how a guy named Adolf von Harnack intentionally removed all black and African contribution to Christianity. And so with the whitewashing of Christianity, you had the whitewashing of scholarship, and so then black and brown contributions to the faith, to philosophy, to monasticism, which it's important that we understand. Monasticism, which deals with being a monk, started in Africa. Egypt, the Library of Alexandria was in Africa. Correct. Philosophy was in Africa. Origin of philosopher was African. And so we got this rich history of intellectual fortitude and prowess that was whitewashed and negated by white supremacists. And so there was a systemic issue to whitewash history. And so that's why many of these books may have white faces on them, but it does not negate the historicity of what these men did. We just got to recapture the full extent of history, because God has used people of all hues in order to draw people to himself. So I would say how Africa Shaped the Christian Mind by Thomas Oden. I would read, again, it may be a white man on the cover, but we know he was the Black Dwarf. Read Athanasius' writing. I would read the Church Father Augustine. That's another African church father, Augustine. So these are people that I would read. I read Oneness Embraced by Tony Evans, because he chronicles the black and brown presence in Scripture by name, chapter and verse, and giving you the history of these people.
Tony Evans.
Yeah, Pastor Tony Evans. When we see Nimrod, a person of color, David, a person of color, John Mark, again, whose gospel was written first. He was a Cyrenian Jew. A person of color wrote one of the gospels. So when they try to say all these things, when they try to say, well, Constantine and all these white people invented Christianity, is historically inaccurate, and to keep saying that is disingenuous, and you can't call yourself conscious if you're ignoring logic and history.
All right. But I know some people probably hit me and say, well, this guy has some type of black, every time people start, you try to put history in its proper perspective, people get, especially my European brothers and sisters, they get a little leery. Or do you feel you're racist by saying that?
No.
The stuff that you're saying? You're talking a bunch of blackness.
No, I'm responding to racists. And so what I'm doing, I'm responding to racists and racism, because as we've established, they have whitewashed history. Now, some of the our current white brothers and sisters may not be perpetuating this myth, but we are still dealing with the effects of the myth. When we go to our reformed institutions, all we see is white faces. We see a white Jesus on the front of my book, my New Testament. It's a white Jesus on the cover at the seminary that I went to. Athanasius, they made him look white. And so these are the things we're talking about. We're saying,
color doesn't matter.
It's interesting that color doesn't matter when you've already put a white face on the book. If color doesn't matter,
somebody's texting me. Color doesn't matter. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, then why? if it doesn't matter, then why would you whitewash history that way? And so I'm not racist. I mean, I pastor a diverse church. We're about 79% black, 19% white, and 1% Hispanic. So this is the church. I'll say 2%. This is the church that I pastor, and so we're excited about that diversity. But I think authentic diversity is when we can talk honestly about what happened, which is why we're seeing even some of the protests now, is because we want to make these people as if somehow the Confederacy is something that we should celebrate.
That's correct.
Read the Articles of Succession, and when people try to say something, well, it's about their rights. Their right to do what? It was for their right to own people.
Yeah,
so again, so when you just try to whitewash and sanitize aspects of our history that reveal total depravity, then we should be called out on that. And so to try to label someone a racist because they're talking about something that actually happened, now it's not that I'm a racist. No, you're a race evader, because it makes you uncomfortable to confront the effects of white supremacy and the past of white supremacy.
Tell us about the YouTube channel. Are you going to be talking more about this? What's the purpose that you have in mind with first formulating that channel?
Well, first, let me thank you, because you inspired me just seeing Berean TV and all the work you're doing to be able to talk about these topics to equip and empower the church. So the urban perspective is something I wanted to do I wanted to have some intentionality of having the initials UP, urban perspective, because I want to take our people higher. And so as we have these discussions, we're able to build, we're getting empowered. And so I'm bringing on scholars of different expertise to be able to speak to some of these issues, also provide resources. That's why I show you books and authors when people are mentioning different books, because I want our people reading, I want us being educated, and I want us empowering our people from a heart of love based on the gospel and what Christ has done for us. And so this isn't a black thing. This is a human dignity thing.
Okay.
And based on the Imago Dei, all people, even non-believers, deserve dignity and respect.
Even non-believers,
because they are made in His image.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. So what can we expect from you coming up by way of videos?
Yeah, well,
in the next couple of months or weeks or whatever.
I'm looking forward to you and I continuing to chop it up, and we're going to talk some controversial topics. We're going to talk about slavery.
Yeah, okay.
People talk. We got to touch on that. About women in the Bible. Is the Bible does the Bible promote gender oppression? Does the Bible condone rape?
And we're going to bring on Doctor. We're going to bring on a sister. We're going to bring on somebody else about that dealing with the women's thing.
Yeah, we're going to have brothers and sisters on that can speak to that. So I'm excited about that, and we want to continue to just put out good content. So that because so many people are going to Google and YouTube for scholarship.
Yes.
Well, we want to at least we still want to encourage you to read. Me and Berean, get some books.
Get some books
with footnotes. Books with footnotes. Don't be Google scholars
and just getting freestyle. Yes.
But YouTube isn't a bad thing. So we want to utilize technology for God's glory and want to continue to put good content out there.
How can we get in touch with you?
Well, you can hit me up on Twitter.
Facebook?
Yeah. On Facebook at Jerome Gay Jr. So you can Jerome Gay Jr. You see me there. On Twitter it's at Jerome Gay, and then the YouTube channel is The Urban Perspective.
The Urban Perspective. Doc, it's good to have you.
Thank you,
we
man.
appreciate it. We're going to be doing a lot more of this.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to
again.
it. Thank you.
All right.
Hallelujah. If you notice that it took
Grace and peace.
a melanated brother here to tell the apologetic community about the history of the whitewashing by the Europeans in their own house. But yet they criticized the Israelites for doing the same, of wanting to educate their own people about the truth of what these European nations have done, and those other nations who join themselves to them and not telling the truth and not owning up to it and not repenting, not making it right. They are continuing in these lies. Thank you, Brother Berean. I really love that video. But I do know the naysayers going to come and probably going to want you to take it down, or the naysayer going to come with a different version of what this pastor here presented. Thank you. I want to say, Pastor Jerome, thank you for being honest and telling the truth and letting us know what y'all have to endure when you fellowship with your Christian brothers and sisters, because here go the proof of what he's talking about. Everywhere we go, all we see is white images. White images. That's all they put upon us, and not showing the true image of the person. Okay, not showing that they have melanin, but they only want to show you the whiteness, right? I'm trying to get to this picture. It's even in this video. Notice what image they give you when they talk about Yahusha. It's always dealing with a white image. Okay. Notice how they want to classify all melanated people under Ham. They don't believe that the sons of Japheth and the sons of Shem are melanated people, but yet our father Adam is melanated. So here go the proof. This comes from their books. But first, I do need to say this. Thank you, Brother Berean, for mentioning the work of Josephus, because the work of Josephus, along with the 1611 Bible, will confirm the books of the Apocrypha. It's there. Oh, yeah, it's there. And Josephus will confirm many of the things that's overlooked, okay, that the apologetic community overlook. It's there. Oh, also, I'm happy that, let me see, what else I'm trying to remember what they was talking about that they brought out, because this need to be brought out, y'all. Israelites, you now have your homework assignment. You need to do some homework more on this. That brings me to this. When they talk about bring your sources, bring your scholars, where they need to keep in mind what the Europeans have done in history in their books. So if you want to talk about the credibility of the Israelite sources, you need to look at your own. Because the Europeans had their hand in that too. They had manipulated things. And here goes some more proof I want to give to you. Go to the word of the Most High, which is the King James 6-7 Bible. Not only do the Bible tells you that the Israelites are melanated people, Moses was a melanated man. Paul was a melanated man because Paul and Moses was among the Egyptians. Okay. Also, the Israelites are referenced to the Ethiopians. Yeah, it's there. But here are some more ancient traits that the Israelite had. And this came out the Messiah's mouth. You won't hear them talk about this, y'all. Go to Matthew chapter 5, verse 36. Do you want to know what is the color of an Israelite hair? And we bear this color today as a nation of people. And I'm talking about a nation of people. The majority of the Israelites today bear this hair color. Okay, and it's written. It says here in verse 36, neither shall they swear by their head, because thou cannot make one hair white or black. So an Israelite, I'm talking about the majority. We are aware there are some of us that has other features because of their fathers mixing with the other nation and tribe. However, as a nation of people, the Israelite today are majority melanated people. The majority have black hair or white hair. The majority have what the world today would call kinky or coily, but the Bible reference as woolly hair because we made in the image of our Father. It's in the whole book. So when you read about the word white hair, we know today the world call it gray, but the Bible said that is your crown of wisdom. So the Israelite has black hair. Now, question to you. Who are the people in the earth that has red hair? Who was the father or the progenitor of the red hair? By our brother Esau, Edom. Okay. So some interesting fact. Let me go to the part of the definition of Adam. This come from the Gentile sources. This is what the Gentiles say. It's under religious and mythological traditions. For it says the Hebrew word usually translate ruddy or reddish brown to admonai from the root word Adam. See also Adam and Edom, because you know Edom is also associated with the word red. Was used to describe both Esau and David. Esau and David. So they was reddish brown. Reddish brown. Again, some people say, well, how can one claim that Esau is a part of the European nation? Remember, there's three groups. You have the sons and daughters of Edom, and the sons and daughters of Japheth, and the sons and daughters of an unknown ancient nation that the Bible talks about that makes up the European nation. So how has some of them have lesser melanin today, and in the world today we say how they have white skin? That is common sense. They mix themselves. They mix themselves. Also, the Bible tells you how white skin can get in the earth, mixing with the fallen ones. Oh yeah, mixing with the fallen ones, or the Father bringing a judgment upon you. Okay. Now I want to say, if you are someone who have lesser melon or no melon, that does not mean you're not accepted by our Father in heaven. He accepts you. You are the son and daughter of Adam. You are his child. He wants to save you. He wants you to be in the kingdom to come. But we have to be honest. We have to be truthful about history, where this stuff started, where it began. And once we embrace the truth, then the healing can begin. It is not to make nobody feel less of a person. Okay? Because we have to know who is our true enemy behind the scene. Satan is the one behind the scene. Remember, I told y'all, some of the sons of Adam have been mixing with the fallen ones. And the Bible talks about that. That's why he had the Israelites to kill the Canaanites when they went into the land. They killed man, woman, child, and beast. They were cleaning house because they had mixed themselves with the fallen ones. Okay. Another part in this article to prove to you about the red hair. Guess what the world think about the people with the red hair? This is the stereotype that is tagged to them. It says that red hair is also found amongst the Ashkenazi Jewish population. In 1903, 5.6% of Polish Jews had red hair. Other studies have found that 3.69% of Jewish women overall were found to have red hair, but around 10.9% of all Jewish men had red beards. In European culture before the 20th century, red hair was often seen as a stereotypical Jewish trait. Do y'all hear that? During the Spanish Inquisition, all those with red hair were identified as Jewish. This is proving what the Israelites been telling y'all, that their brother has taken their identity. Okay? Let me go on to say, and he has who else has joined it is the son of Japheth. Now you get to understand the biblical prophecies that's written in Genesis 9 and Genesis 10. Our Father, please check the video description box. Our Father has spoken himself confirming this in YAHUAH prophetic messages. I highly recommend that you listen to those messages and print them out. They're the first 8 videos, and now I found that there's another brother who came on the scene where the Father is talking unto him, so he's prophesying now. And I think that's the last video in that playlist. Okay. It goes on to say, in Italy, red hair was associated with Italian Jews, and Judas was traditionally depicted as red hair in Italian and Spanish art. Forgive my tongue, y'all. The stereotype that red hair is Jewish remained in parts of Eastern Europe and Russia. Again, who was the father or who was the progenitor of red hair? Whether it began in the earth, it began with our brother Esau. But the Israelites, and even today, we still have our ancient trait, as the Messiah is saying to us, we either gonna have black hair or white hair, far as a nation of people. Okay, that's our tribal trait. That's our nation trait. But I am aware there are some Israelites who don't bear this trait, because we have Israelites who have mixed themselves among the heathens. Okay? Again, this is not to make you feel less of a person. This is to give you the truth and facts. So the Bible give you the hair color. Even in the Old Testament, you will see it. It's in the book of Leviticus. Okay? Now to, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. So when they criticize the Israelite by their sources and not taking this information to account, what the Europeans did, they are wrong. The apologetic community is wrong. You are also wrong for only showing the bad apples and not telling the world about other Israelites who do not carry the doctrines of the One West, such as we have School of Hebrews. Look them up. They're on YouTube. We have Israel God. Okay, assemblies. They're on YouTube. Then we have Israelites such as myself speaking out against the One West doctrines. Then we have brother Mikael. Now Mikael dealt heavily with the apologetics, but you see how they treated him when he was giving them truth. They didn't know how to take it, so they don't like dealing with him too much, because I seen how they treat him, and that was wrong. Okay, so brother Mikael, he has a channel titled Hebrews in the Hood. Then we have Hebrew Nation Building, who responded to this offensive video of lies of the melanated people that the I'm trying to read this word, that the reform apologetics ministry did. And what amazes me again, a cab felt no need to rebuke Keith Thompson. That is sad. But yet he called himself a Christian. Yet he say he's a believer in the word and that he followed the Messiah. But he's so quick to come against the One West camps, but he can't even rebuke those in his own house. In other words, he can't even rebuke his own apologetic brother. He condoned their wickedness. Because like you see in his responses, he thought there was some good information. Okay? And he also said that it had a lot of facts that people need to hear right here. Right here. So he gave this guy a whole lot of credit. Praises. That's sad. And yet we have our people joining themselves to Vocab. And that's sad. That you would join yourself to a brother like this. He is an undercover racist. Just because a person do good deeds That's how they deceive you. But when they truly showing you who they are through their actions, you better believe them. He's using the same method that he did. He's using the same method that the serpent did with our foreparents, Adam and Eve. When the serpent went to Eve, he told her a truth mixed with a lie. He did. Well, that's the same thing with how they operate. They mix in lies with the truth. And Paul rebuked you. Paul told you it's going to be no excuse for you. Paul called y'all covenant breakers. Okay? Because y'all are twisting the truth into lies. All right. It was something else, but it'll come to my mind. Let's go to the to the second witness, and it's titled I'm not African American or black. My apology. Untold story revealed. Israelites and those who are melanated, who especially here in America, but we know we are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth because of what the Europeans have done unto us, and those nations who have joined themselves too, because we are aware there's other tribes and nations that have a hand in our slavery. Even the Jewish people who are called Yahad in the Hebrew tongue. Everybody had a hand in our slavery, but no one has repented and made it right with us. No one has given our reparations. Everybody else have been reparation for. Everybody else have received their reparation for their injustice. Look at the Jewish. Look at the Japanese when they had the bombing. I mean, in comparison to what we go through, not only in America, but throughout the four corners of the earth where they have spread us. Okay, so again, the title is I'm not African American or black. My apology. Untold history revealed. Israelites and those who are calling themselves black, African American. Y'all need to hear this sister video. Y'all need to hear it. It's only 25 minutes and 51 seconds, and she gives a instant way of how you can research your lineage to get the truth. Because I'm telling y'all, these Europeans followed in the same way that the Greeks did, and Josephus wrote about this. They went about changing the names of the nation, and they thought they was above the other nations of the earth. So that's the same thing with these Europeans. They went about changing the name of my people so they won't know who they truly are, and they gave us the names they want us to have. Who in the world, tribe or nation is named after the crayon black? That is very insulting. Very. And even for my own people who have joined themselves to the project community, I feel sorry for you. I feel ashamed because you don't even recognize how they are marking our people, how they are belittling our people. And what I have learned from watching y'all afar, if y'all supposed to be scholars, like history experts, or if you're supposed to be a child of God or a child of light, as Berean said in his video, we should learn how to respect one another. So you should come with us with enough respect, not call us black, such and such. You should address us by our tribal name. So if I'm telling you, you call me an Israelite. Don't call me black. Don't call me African American. I'm none of those things. Those names originated from our oppressors, and our people, because of the lack of knowledge, took on to those names. But when the Father, hey, bring you from the darkness and into the light, and you learn the truth, then the truth gonna set you free, as the word the Most High said. All right, I said enough. Check the video description box for these links so you can check them out for yourself. And like I said, will the apologetic community correct what they do? I'm gonna be honest. It's hard to say, because based on their past action, I have not seen them change or got better. I've seen them become worse than those that they are accusing. And y'all need to give a better representation on who the Israelites are. For we're not all the same. We are of different sects. Some are Messianics. Some only believe in the Torah. Some believe in the One West doctrine that comes from the synagogue of Satan. Oh yes, when you do your history, you will learn that the commandment keepers were taught by the Jewish people. Oh yeah. And you will see some of those same beliefs found in the Talmud. It's there. That's where it came from. And what's so ironic, that the Jewish people was taught by the Pharisees. Do y'all see that? So it was the ancient Israelites responsible for spreading the doctrines of Satan. That's why the Bible called them the synagogue of Satan, for they follow the Talmud. They don't follow Torah. Big difference. So I do want to end with this. For those who are preaching against keeping the Father new moon day, Sabbath day, and holy feast days, beware, because you are preaching a lie. The prophets told you we're going to keep these things in the kingdom to come. We're going to keep these things when the Messiah come back and reign for 1,000 years. And we're going to keep them in the eternal kingdom to come. It's just that y'all don't know how to keep them in the new marriage, in the new covenant, because you didn't listen to the mysteries, or you didn't listen to what the Messiah was telling you. You missed the mark. You missed the mystery. But you rather keep the beast hella days. You rather keep the beast holy days. And I'm being serious. Y'all rather keep that. But you ain't going to find none of those things being kept in the kingdom to come, because it goes against the word of Yah. It goes against it. And the proof is the date. What day of V14 falls on is going to be the date when the Messiah was crucified, which is the Passover. For the word told you he is the Passover. And whatever date the resurrection falls on, which is a V16, that is the day you should keep as a memorial. Stop following these heathens, these Hellenizers, these Roman Christians, because they're going to lead you to lies. All right, again, my brother, thank you. I really thank you, Brother Berean, for that video. And also check the letter I in this video for the other links. And I definitely want you to hear this sister testimony of what she found out what the Europeans have done to her own people. And there's many more. And the Father's letting me know there's a judgment set against the Europeans for what they have done. For they have not repented, and they have not owned up to it. Now, I am aware there are some Europeans not like that. So if you have repented and made it right with the Father and with his people, then you're not going to receive the judgment that's coming to your nation. Remember Rahab? Remember Nineveh? Remember Sodom and Gomorrah? Remember what happened to the Canaanites? Go back in the Bible and see what happened when the Father has a judgment against people who have done wickedness, covenant breakers. And then you will see it's going to be the same in this time. So hear me well, Europeans, and to the nations who have followed the ways of the Europeans. Repent while you have time. Make it right with the Father, with the Son, and with his people while you have time, so you will not receive the judgments and the plagues that is coming upon the earth. Another person he wants me to mention to you that will remind you of this. Remember what he did in ancient Egypt. He's going to do the same now, but it's worldwide. We can see the blood moons, the earthquakes, the plagues of the locusts, the sinkholes. It's so much going on. Even we're in coronavirus plague, and we're seeing what he's doing. All right, I said enough in this video. Again, please watch those 3 videos. Okay? Watch the one that Keith Thompson did. Take your notes and compare it to what we watched with what Brother Berean did with that Pastor Jerome. And then watch what this sister has to say about why she's not African American or black. And take your notes and compare. Because it's time for these lies to stop. It's time for the apologetics to take ownership of the lies they are spreading too. All right. Love you all. Continue to preach that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, for it's truly at hand. Make sure the people receive salvation as written in Romans chapter 10, and baptize them in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, for the Lamb set the example of the water of baptism, and the apostles continuing in both. And if you have no one to baptize you in this time of this plague, Remember, the water, the heaven, and the earth are a witness unto us. It's in the scriptures. And they can report back unto the Father in heaven who enter into the new marriage. For our Father in heaven has poured his Spirit upon all his creations. See, that's a mystery that many don't understand, but you would have gotten it from the other sacred books, or you would have gotten it through the Comforter. He would have told you that. But going back on what I'm saying, our Father in heaven has poured his Spirit upon all his creation, and you always being watched. So when you have to go to court and face your Father in heaven, remember this: you have a judgment set against you. So what are you going to use to justify yourself when you face him? Are you going to use these European sources, or are you going to stand by the sacred books that the Father gave us? Look at the Ethiopian books. They kept all the books. They didn't follow after the ways of the Roman Christians. Those books are given there for you for a reason, to save you from the lies of these heathens, these Hellenizers. But it's up to you to allow the truth to come in. As for the Holy Spirit baptism, you can receive that in the name of his Son, Yahusha The Messiah, and he shall give it unto you according to your heart, your faith, and your work, and in the appointed season. I love you all, and continue to get this truth out. Israelites and Gentiles, continue to get out. Share it with your brothers and sisters, because it's time for the world to face the truth that the Europeans have been whitewashing history for a long time. And the time has come for it to stop. Shalom.